Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Oh, hey, buddy. Oh, yeah.
All right, more stories with Will Forte, my man. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you.
4 seasons coming out on Netflix.
Yep.
When's that coming out?
May 1st.
That's a nice day for it. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a nice premiere date.
Yeah, 5/1.
Tell me about the show.
It is. It's based on a Alan Alda movie. He wrote and
you just told me. And Carol Burnett was in it too, wasn't she?
Carol Burnett. Yeah, a bunch of awesome people. Those were like the two main ones that people would know probably. I mean, I think Rita Moreno was in it. I didn't see the movie.
DEI hire.
It was hard to like track down the movie for some reason. It's
Did
not,
you guys
like,
make it a
readily
movie or a
available.
show?
It's a series because I guess
Yeah.
Tina was always a fan of it, which makes me laugh.
Turner?
She laughs at herself that like she was a Tina Turner. No, Tina Fey was a huge. Oh, I should go back and say this is Tina has created this show with her friends Tracy and Lang.
Tracy Morgan did the 4 seasons show.
Not Tracy Morgan.
I love Alan Alda. He was Hawkeye Pierce.
Specific. I got to be real specific with you. Tracy Wakefield and Lang. Oh my God, I'm totally okay. Don't tell. Lang.
Don't worry about it. Everybody
Jessica
go watch
Lange.
it. Let's get the business out of the way. Look, Will Forte's in it. The end.
Oh, you.
May 1st.
No, it's got a good cast. Steve Carell's in it too,
love
and
Steve.
Tina, who I already mentioned.
Steve's
Coleman
one of those guys.
Domingo.
Who's that?
Coleman Domingo, multi-Academy Award nominee.
Really?
For Erica Henningsen and Carrie Kenny. Carrie Kenny Silver, rather. Who's so funny. Who you
I'm just
know
going
from
in
the
for
State
Will,
and
Will
from
Forte and
Reno
Steve Carell.
911.
Will, don't you
And
agree?
Marco
Like,
Colvani. Sorry. Okay.
no, you got it in. Steve Carell is one of those guys. Like when you find out he likes you, it's like pleasing your dad. You get so happy. Like Steve Carell likes me.
He is the nicest guy. He's just a delight and kind of like shy, a little shy, I would say.
He's real
that was
silly.
The surprising thing. Yeah, just wonderful.
He was
man.
like saying bits when we did Burt Wonderstone. We were on set and he would like say, like, I like that thing you do. And he would like mention a piece of my stand-up. And I was completely gobsmacked that Steve Carell knew I existed.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And Alan Alda, the original 4 seasons, I was telling them before the podcast. Joe Prano is here riding shotgun, of course. Thank you, Joe.
Of course.
It's some other guy in the corner. The good old, what's his name? Great. The Alan Alda is like the one guy, if I met, I don't think I'd be able to talk. Like, I think if I had to call my shot as far as being starstruck, I don't think I'd be able to form a sentence because it's like my whole childhood was my father watching MASH. So it's kind of like the guys you look up to, who they look up to, become like these ethereal
I'll tell you what,
gods.
I got to meet him, and I know exactly what you mean, and I have that problem with people that I have great respect for. Very easy to talk to you. That was a joke. That was
No,
a
I
joke.
just didn't think it was funny.
No, I understand. But like he
hair.
is the nicest guy. He would like it would be so easy to talk to. I got a chance to meet him. He came and did a part in the show, and everyone came in. I wasn't in the scene. When Alan Alda's there, you come, you make sure that you are there to see him and meet him. Nicest, sweetest person, makes it so easy to talk to. He's so approachable and just wonderful. He exudes warmth. The person that you know on screen is the person that you do.
Your voice register seems like you would be able to do an Alan Alda impression.
Really?
Well,
man,
Frank.
I'm
Well,
more
Frank.
of a Kermit the Frog.
Hi ho. Let me hear it.
Kermit
Can
the
you
Frog.
do Kermit?
Kermit the Frog here.
I remember when he's dressed. I like when he did first of all, the Muppet Show predates. This blew my mind. It's before Saturday Night Live. So Saturday Night Live took the format of the Muppet Show. There's a host, there's a musical act, there's a weekend up, there's a news desk, and recurring sketches like Pigs in Space and The Swedish Chef. Like they had their hammers, they had their MacGruber's.
I forget. You're right.
I know.
forgot that.
Yeah. But when Kermit the Frog
That's
would
right,
like,
because the Muppets were like in the first couple SNLs, right? Were they in the first SNL? There was some kind of Jim Henson element.
yeah, but it
you're
was
right.
weird. It was a weird amorphous. It didn't fit. It was bizarre. It was
Yeah.
like the big, yeah. But like when Kermit wore like like, hi ho, Kermit the Frog for Sesame Street News. Like suddenly he's an anchor and he's wearing like a trench coat. And here I am at the house of the three little pigs. And he had the little mic. I love anytime a puppet holds a mic.
So you must be a Triumph fan.
Oh, of course.
Freaking Smigel, the best. Love him so much. Are you? What did you start? You started watching the original cast, right? Like, how early did you get in there?
My huge, like, holy smokes, shifting my molecules in my body was like those weird 1 or 2 years where Lauren was actually. I don't know if Lauren was out, but it was like
the Eddie Murphy.
Well, that was early, but then in middle school, it was like Billy Crystal, Martin Short, Christopher Guest, Jim Belushi, Joe.
Yeah.
Like that melted my face.
Yeah.
And they were all. What I heard was or read was, they were all kind of established. Yeah, we'll do the show, but you have to completely leave us alone.
Oh wow! Oh, I
And
didn't know that.
and they were like, yeah, we just need to. It was like they were like the bridge.
So that wasn't a Lauren year. Was that the year before he came back?
Yeah.
Like 86.
And I just love,
86, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like Martin Short doing like an albino, Jackie Rogers Jr., like the albino lounge singer who's the son of a famous, like he's basically Frank Sinatra Jr.
Yeah.
But like an albino, but it's a game show. And Jim Belushi's Captain Kangaroo. And Christopher Guest is a gay detective. Like it's just, it is actually like Will Forte-esque with the kiosk.
Ooh.
Kiosk. That's my little thing in the mall where I sell aggravation to people. It's my I have a kiosk.
The synchronized swimmer sketch
Incredible.
is the one that I always think of, which is I know
I'm
is
not
a real easy pick.
That strong a swimmer. Because he's wearing like a half bald cap.
Yeah.
Like just to make it look
It's
like his
really
hair's
hard to
receding.
put your finger on what his deal is.
Hey, you.
nose
I know
clips.
you. No, you're not angry at him. You're just pointing.
Yeah,
I
looks
know
like
you.
He's like 12. He's like almost bald, but like 12.
And I also love Jim Belushi, the high school chess coach. Pawn to rook 4. Pawn to rook 4! Ah! Why don't you just give him the queen? He's kicking chairs over like he's Bobby Knight.
Wait, I got to meet Jim Belushi. I think I had met him before, but I got to see him at that 50th. And it brought back the movie Taking Care of Business. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah,
I love that movie.
So you
the
said,
Filofax, I just remember, I still say Filofax every once in a while.
when you said a lot of people went to set for Alan Alda,
Yeah.
were there more people in your memory, more people visiting set? Because there is like that phenomenon, like you get a guest star or whatever, everybody like, whoa, even if you're not working that day, like Will said, more people on set to watch Alan Alda or Otto and George, the puppet act on Action?
Definitely Otto and George.
Bro, that was.
Otto and
Do you remember
George.
that when he was in a jail cell with Buddy Hackett? He goes, "How about
Kind of.
I fuck you in your ass and make the guard suck the load out with a crazy straw."
That show was insane. I mean, that was what was your experience like on that show?
I loved it.
But I mean,
It was my
a-
first time being number one on a call sheet,
Yeah.
and I loved that responsibility because it wasn't like sitcom-y, like, "Hey, who ate the avocados?" Wah, wah. It was really it was great. I got to say great things all the time.
Yeah.
And guys like Don Rio,
Don Rio, the best.
to have a genius like that listen to my idea and laugh.
Yeah.
And then, like, I didn't know you were like Will Forte. You were just one of the guys. Like, you were a hamburger
I
brother.
was
You were
like
the third hamburger brother.
Yeah,
to
I
me.
was like one of the. I might have even been a staff writer, which is for people who don't know.
But
the
you wrote
business,
the one
like
with
the lowest
Gil
level.
Younger was just here, and he directed the episode I think you wrote where we bust the kid out of rehab. 12 Steps to Hell. And,
Oh, okay.
And
That
Arlie
sounds right.
Army as the actor's like the director. Arlie Army
Oh,
is like
yeah.
the kid's sponsor. It's like every day I sit the boy down, we read the big book. I go, AA, he goes, Moby Dick.
That was a great show. You were fantastic in it, and I just remember getting jobbed around by Fox. Right? Didn't they? They
Well,
they kept changing the the time of the show, and then they noted the show. They kept. I just remember from a writing standpoint them making us like change all these things around that that.
Well, it was.
I know some of the subject matter was.
Yeah, and
spicy.
I believe in your episode that you're credited as writing it. I'd like to know when I don't want my star Cole Riccardi to come out of the closet because basically like Die Hard is opening and I can't have my Bruce Willis guy be a Fanuc. And so I go to his house and I go, you can't. And he's like, what do you know? And I'm like, and then I tell him I'm gay. I too am a friend of Dorothy's. Do you remember this?
I kind of do.
And he blows me. I let him blow me I go.
I do kind of remember.
Once this movie comes out, Cole, you can just crack. And then at the very end of the episode, the movie's so huge, I don't care anymore. And he goes, encore, mi amor. And in the original, I pull down my pants and go, okay, but this is the last time. And they made us take it out and say, no, you're worth more than that, Cole.
I don't remember a lot about anything.
We've written
my
so
brain
much.
is my. I remembered a bunch of stuff about like 4th and 5th grade, but you get into that zone that's like the mid 90s through like even 2016, and it's just like all a big soup.
Fair enough.
But I do remember the one thing I remember about that is that as a gift toward the end, they gave us a collection of all the studio notes, which was the thickest.
Oh, I don't know. I never got that.
It was. I'll show it to you.
Please.
It's amazing. It is like Bible thickness. It's so thick. And then the very last one, which because I was one of the youngest writers, it fell on me to write the very last episode, and it was just like didn't even say any specifics. It just said this entire episode is not fit for shooting. He's still shy. He said we got good news and bad news. I remember when he came in, he said the bad news is this and showed us that thing. And he said the good news is we're down there shooting it right now.
Yeah, that's how Don Rio rolled. I remember so two quick
coolest,
stories.
most love it.
He was slappy white straight man when he was 18 years old. Like he's crazy. I said, there's so much to talk to you about, but the thing about action, we had one episode where we had to get Ileana Douglas to have sex with the writer Adam Rafkin to unlock his writer's block. And so she's like, have you ever had sex with? And then we had these sex acts that we made up, and the censors told us you can't say that on TV, but we made up like, have you ever had a 3-fingered Mexican oil job?
And you weren't allowed to say that?
And the writer's like, guys, you can't say that. And we're like, we literally made it up.
Doesn't mean anything.
And then like, have you ever heard of a Dominican face hat? That was the one I really liked. And I remember arguing like, no, we made these up. They don't mean anything.
Yeah.
And then once he was sold on that, we worked in like felching and like things that were real because he was too embarrassed to Roland, the guy's name was. He was too embarrassed to circle back.
What is now felching? I know the term.
Joe?
I've never known what it is, and
Kyle? It's retrieving the semen from a dead person's anus.
Oh, that old trick.
I got to put this pen away because I hate when I listen to a podcast.
Do you keep in touch with Jared Paul? You said
I've seen him around.
Now that guy.
I thought he was Gene Wilder.
Such a funny actor, and he's as good a writer.
Oh really?
Yeah, he and his partner Andy, they write stuff together, and they're so good. And I don't know why he doesn't get a chance to act more because he's really, really good.
I'm gonna reach out to him after this because I thought while acting with him, I'm opposite Gene Wilder. Like I thought he was that good.
He's fantastic.
Like he made me laugh. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, they're amazing writers, but he should be writing stuff that he gets to act in because he's so good.
When I typed in Will, I say this to all the guests, the 3 suggested names that come up. Want to take a shot?
Forte at the top, right?
How about this? Oh, no. Okay. Yes.
Shut up.
Do I lie?
No. You're not a liar anymore.
Because it must have heard you saying, shit, I got to type in Will Forte. I would shut up. No,
I'll
come
do it right
on.
now. Maybe it's my computer.
Because it would be Farrell and Smith. I'm not even sure which one would come up first.
You know what? You're right.
Arnett would come up before me.
Nope.
Will Wheaton would probably come up.
That's only one L though.
Will Gear from the Waltons probably.
You're both
Clark.
You're both idiots. William Sonoma was number 2. William Sonoma. Willow was 4. Have you ever worked with a little person?
Have I worked? Yeah, I must have.
You know, they say we can't call them midgets. I disagree.
It's little people is the
That's the
appropriate
thing.
term
for now. Yeah.
and I disagree.
Yeah. What, are they going to fight me?
I mean, that's between you. I'm just gonna.
Oh, you disagree with me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I think
With the guy with a show coming out, that's the stance to take for sure. You got to do that corporate dance.
You know who else was in Willow? Val Kilmer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Val Kilmer and you almost did The Amazing Race.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
I could never do it for one very specific reason. Joe?
No naps.
No naps. I got to have a nap every day or I come undone.
I bet you could take naps. I mean, by the way, there are
What, a
flights,
rickshaw
there
in
are
India?
flights all the time. You got to hop on flights. You could nap on all those flights, then wake up clear-headed.
Yeah.
Would you have won Amazing Race? That's the question.
No, I don't think
Then
so.
what, bro?
Not with
What kind of attitude is that?
trying to think of.
Were you about to say not with Val Kilmer?
By the way,
I
I would
was gonna
be.
say that too.
I would be. I think pretty good at certain things. I stay very motivated, and I'm very competitive when I get in those kinds of situations. But then there are so many elements that are out of your control, like traffic stuff.
Monsoons.
Where do you go? Yeah, I'm. Yeah,
Monsoons,
you just
rat
have no idea.
infestation.
And it seems like sometimes they'll kind of throw stuff at people, just who might be clear favorites.
So how does that come up where you and Val Kilmer almost go in The Amazing Race?
Well, he came in. I was watching The Amazing Race, and he said, "Oh, this is garbage. This reality TV stuff. It's
You
gonna
guys
rot
living
your
together?
brain." This was So after MacGruber, like 2 years after, he was going to sell his place in New Mexico, and he had a place in Malibu that he was renting, but he was having a dispute with his landlord, so he said, "I'm going to find a new place. Can I stay with you for a couple days?"
Well, how did you know him prior to that?
That was from MacGruber. I knew him.
Okay.
So we had made MacGruber in like 2009. Somehow talked him into being in it, and we all became buddies. Me and John, Yorma, Kristen, and Val. He was. Did you get to hang out with them?
No. Side note: everything he does is what I wish I was doing.
Will Forte.
Absolutely. Everything you do, I get jealous. Like you're my one that got away. If I was on SNL while you were on SNL, we would have taken the UN at night for fun. Like something crazy would happen. Like I'm powerless over you. You're my all. I talk about you all the time on this podcast, bro.
Oh man.
Feels like you guys should do Amazing Race together.
The Falconer, Cherry's Jubilee, freaking out the Falcon. I'm like, this guy gets it. This guy gets it.
It's so funny because I still get nervous around you because I feel like you're my boss from Action.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I get nervous around you because you actually had an SNL career.
Writing.
You actually had an SNL career.
Oh jeez.
I was bailiff. So
What?
Val Kilmer, sorry, I distracted
Okay, so
you.
Val, we just had remained friends, and we'd see each other every once in a while. And this came up. He had invited me and a couple other, like John Solomon, Yorma Taccone, to a party that he was having at his place, kind of a going away party because he was going to move to a new place where he was still trying to figure out where it was. And so it was at that party Saturday night. He said, "Hey, can I stay with you?" And I don't even know if he said a couple days. The way he said it made it seem like it was going to be a couple days. And so on Monday he shows up and it turned into like 2.5 months, which was a delight. I mean, it was the best. I was such a huge Val Kilmer fan. I was a huge Doors fan in junior high school. So that Doors movie was a huge deal for me. And then having Val essentially the
as your
closest
roommate
thing to Jim Morrison was very exciting to have.
Slider from, was he Slider?
No, he was Iceman.
Oh yeah, Iceman. You stink.
Oh my God.
Hey,
And like his real life persona is it's a fun, lovable, silly version of that. Like he'll hit a lot of his regular move was to like come in and be very serious about something, like overly serious, but and you can tell he's joking, but he stays with the seriousness. But the information coming out is really, really over the top and dramatic, and then he'll get really dramatic. It was always a delight.
Good roommate, dishes in the sink, or makes his bed in the morning.
Well, you know what? It's weird because we were kind of like the odd couple as roommates, but nobody. It wasn't like one was the Oscar and one was the Felix. It was just like I'm a little self-diagnosed OCD, and so just having anybody with me is going to be an odd couple situation because I need everything in its proper place.
I notice when people stay at my house, I have a 2-day maximum now. You can stay at my house for a day, or 2 is like the max.
Yeah.
It's like I can leave my shit out, but if you leave a dish in the sink, I get in like, what is wrong with this person?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you know my weirdest thing is, people don't generally bother me. I'm not a traffic guy. I don't really care. I'm on the phone all the time with guys. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
I swim laps. I'm a swimmer.
Oh.
When somebody swims like an idiot in the pool, like, you know, that guy, like when he takes his breath and he goes almost all the way over on his back, like a little kid in a lesson.
Yeah.
For some reason, it bugs the shit out of me how other people swim, and it ruins my day. And then,
you're right. Or like when they're not letting people pass, or they're.
Oh, I had a guy kicked me twice in a very crowded pool, and I got out and I threw his sneakers in the bushes. I was like, fuck this guy.
I used to swim, so I know what you're talking about. And the closest thing that I do now is have you ever done the Santa Monica stairs or any of the stairs?
Yeah.
It's that same kind of thing. There's an etiquette for the stairs
Right.
that people just don't follow. And it's so obvious. It's just like a human thing.
They're
just
out of it.
But it's also like driving. It's just all that. People who freaking stay in the.
You get
the
mad when you
fast lane.
drive? Most people do.
I
just don't care.
I have learned to like.
Maybe I'm
let
the guy
go
everybody's mad
and
at.
go, oh, this person just doesn't know. But it's really like it makes the streets
The left lane, just
very
like, get
dangerous
the fuck out.
when some slow person's in the fast lane, because then people are forced to like pass on the slow lane.
LA's the only place I lived where when a car breaks down, they have no thought to pull it to the right. Like just a guy, you just see some guy from El Salvador standing behind his Toyota Camry, like putting his hands up in the fast lane, like, slow down. I'm here stalled out in lane 5.
Yeah. I mean,
Latinos.
Every once in a while, it is because of how crazy LA traffic is, I try to give those guys a break because I go like, okay, I could see maybe they just couldn't pull over their car just because people were being assholes and not letting them over.
Favorite sketch you wrote that didn't get on the air?
This sketch, well, it kind of eventually did. It was the Benjamin Franklin sketch that I put up like 5 times. You know, you're not supposed to put up stuff more than a second time. And I just kept putting it up, and they never let me do it. And then Seth Meyers has that thing called Second Chance Theater that they let you do, the things that, like you said, the thing you really wanted to get on the air. And it's a great way to do it because you talk about it for the whole segment, so people know how much this thing cares to you. So it's going to go well no matter what, because it's either going to actually legitimately be funny, or it's going to be so bad that people are going to go, "What the fuck was this guy thinking? Why does he care so much about this piece of crap sketch?"
Why did you care so much about it?
Just because. You know, when you get to SNL, they say like there are things that will go well at table reads in the early going. They say maybe in a couple of years they'll let you do something like that. But right now, you just got to wait. There'll be a time, you know, you get a little bit older, you get some seniority. You'll
That's why I left.
You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so when I was putting that up, it was toward the end, and it would be like I started feeling like, you know what, this does well at the table reads. It deserves to at least have a shot. Like what, you know, if I'm sending a message that I think that this is something I'd like to try.
I keep putting it back in.
And you know, you see a lot of other people's crappy sketches get on for one reason or another, and I'm fine with that. But it's like, I just felt like this is one I feel like I should have at least gotten a shot to put it up at dress rehearsal. But it's not my show, I just felt a little bit like I had at that 8 years in, you've earned the right to be able to try one sketch that you really, really like.
How did it do in Second Chance Theater?
It did great, but it was also, like I said, I've just talked about.
You get to feather the nest.
How much, because Seth's whole thing was, I remembered this toward the end, not doing well at the table reads, and I'm like, no, this did very well at every table read. So like they saw the passion, and so, like I said, I'll never know if it would have done well at SNL, but it did well there because people, it's like when you're watching the Olympics and you don't know something about a sport, and then they have one of those 10-minute pieces on, a rhythmic gymnast that's talking about the hardships they've gone through, and suddenly you're like, I'm a huge fan of this. I really want this person to do well, and it's just like that. So people were invested in this sketch.
All my sketches that I thought should get on pretty much got on. I have Weekend Update pieces. That was the bane of my existence.
Really?
Yeah, like I had this. I ran for governor once when Howard Stern was running for governor. I threw my hat in the ring, and the whole platform was "I'll get you laid."
Yeah,
like the taxes will be high, the potholes will be there, but you won't care because I will have gotten you laid. Like it was just easy.
Yeah,
and like you can't say. They would always. I knew when Herb Sargent was lying to me. Like we can't say that. You can't say get laid.
Really? You couldn't say
get laid? And I was like,
laid.
what Chevy Chase and Richard Pryor said, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, I'm in the business.
Yeah.
And then, but the one that to this day would have been, I was a very effeminate movie reviewer, Lance, and I sang the reviews, and I had hair like Tim Calhoun. And then at the end, I'd go, yeah, and there was a yometer, and however high that went was the rating, but it would be like, it would be like Mrs. Doubtfire, and I'd be like, ooh, hey, little girl, is your daddy home, or did he dress up like a woman from an old folks home? Ooh, he's a maid for hire. Mrs. Doubtfire, I was in heaven. Yeah, I give it a 7. It's just so stupid. And I would have
I love that.
I would have bet my house that was going to get on.
Yeah.
It went to dress twice. And then Jim Downey told me, too gay. His name is Costner. Woo! Oh, Kevin Costner. He kidnaps a boy. Clint Eastwood tracks him down. I'll see it again and again. Yeah! 10.
That made me think of a Weekend Update thing that I did.
We did Second Chance Theater right here.
Second Chance Theater.
That's like for the SNL 60th. That's what I'm not for.
Yeah. I was like, maybe my delusional brain at SNL 50, I'm like, at the last minute, they're going to be like, we need somebody to do Norm. Like, that was what I never told my wife. I was thinking from Thursday to Sunday. Like, JJ, could you, did you do sketches with Norm? He didn't do sketches.
No, I got to meet him a couple times.
Amazing.
Only once at SNL, or maybe twice at SNL, he came by. What a sweet guy! Because growing up as a fan of his, you'd go like, oh, is he? I wonder what he's like in real life. Is he? Because he's there's such danger to his comedy. The way he, and man, what a sweet.
But there was a danger to him too. He was raised on like a farm on the plains of like Ontario, and like he dropped Ian Maxtone Graham with one punch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there was 93 was like, okay, for all of a sudden you can't smoke in any building in New York.
Yeah.
So Norm was in the writer's room on that couch right when you come in the door, and he was just smoking. It was like 2 a.m, and Ian Maxtone Graham, all 6'9" of him, with his ascot. He looked like Niedermeyer from like Revenge. And he walks in, looks down at Norm, and just takes his water and pours it on Norm's lap to put the cigarette out. And Norm just gets up, whap, one shot, unconscious, like out. Like in a movie. Like, whap. And I remember like, whoa, like that's not a normal guy punch. That was, because he's not some buff guy.
Some like John Wick
it's a John Wick punch.
Norm as John Wick would be great.
Yeah, Norm, I feel like I might be coming out of retirement, I think
That's a very good one.
Well, it's an impression, yeah.
I'm
Had
sorry.
Norm on Dateline. Then I cut her head off, you know.
For sure, the best guest of any talk show ever. Like,
yeah,
the number one of all time, I would say.
Did you read his book?
No.
There's a chapter about him meeting Don Rickles and Don Rickles insulting him in the makeup trailer.
Yeah.
And I was in a hotel. I laughed so hard, I kicked furniture over. Security came to my room to see what was going on. Like, I was picking shit up and throwing it like in the game night sketch. I was just throwing things across the room.
Was he like, was he thrilled that he did it? Like,
it's all tongue in cheek. Like, the book opens with him and Lauren smoking opium at a crack house.
Oh.
So it's that stupid up front. So then he gets away when he tells the truth later, because he can say it's obviously none of it's real.
Oh.
But when he gets into the details of like the O.J. Simpson stuff and Tartikoff and all the NBC people, when he tells the truth about things behind the scenes, it's like Norm. It's brilliant. He gets away with it because it opens with him and Lauren smoking crack in a crack house. Hi, Lauren and me are smoking crack, you know. When I went down the rabbit hole of Will Forte sketches, which was the best prep I've ever had in my life to do for, I love Will. How far the comments under your sketches. So gloriously dumb, it's genius. There's some real darkness to this guy. I love the chaos of Will Forte sketches. You're never sure whether or not Will Forte is insane. That one made me so happy.
Family is still wondering.
This would be great on like a movie poster of Will Forte. Just all the quotes.
You're
under
never sure whether or not Will Forte is insane.
That's, I mean, kind of what we're going for with the sketches.
That's it.
That you can tell it lands if you get something like that.
The spelling bee sketch.
Yes.
It was 1 minute and 10 seconds. I timed it of consonants in a row. It could have been 2 minutes. It could have been 12. I would never have, there was never a point where I've been like, okay, that's enough.
I'll tell you what, if this was earlier in the show, it probably would have been double the length. I shouldn't have done this, but like, I was nervous. It was the last thing in the show before it was the Christmas show. And I knew that Neil Young still had to go on. I knew that they were then shooting the Good Nights on the Ice Rink. And I went into the control room and I saw that it was like, 12:52, or I forget what the timing was, but I was like, oh shit, what's going to happen is I'm going to be out there and they're going to like tell me they're going to cut off the ending, which, if you don't hear him say wrong, at least.
I like that he looks down at his notes first and then looks up and goes, wrong. He looks down.
Yeah.
Parnell's another one.
So I think I, A, rushed it a little bit, and B, cut it off earlier than I would have liked.
Was each letter on the cue cards?
Oh, no.
That would have been fun to make Wally.
That was, by the way, that was another one I had to put up 5 times. Because that was...
Really?
That was one I did at the Groundlings for years and years. So I had probably done that 50 times. And I understand the reluctance.
Spell the word
it's like,
for me?
if you do that and it's not getting laughs, it's a long way to go. And so it's a scary thing for them to have faith in. But I was like, I've done this so many times. It does well at the table readers. It was another one that was like, just give it a shot. And then after doing it a second time, then we did it at a like some kind of fundraiser. I think it was the Robert Smigel's autism benefit. We had done it at the Beacon Theater, some big theater, and it did really well. And Lauren was there, and I was thinking, okay, so I'll put it up again. It didn't go in. So the final time that I put it up was when I wrote the thing for Jack and Kyle to do, Tenacious D to do that musical ending, and Jack's the best.
Spelling bee.
So, I mean...
I saw him at a Lakers game Monday, and my wife goes and introduces herself to him, and he goes, you don't have to introduce yourself to me. I know who you are. And then he looks at me, and I go to shake his hand. He goes, come here. Come on. And as I'm hugging him, I just start singing Explosivo, climb up on my faithful steed. And he goes, wow. And then the highlight of my night, fuck the Lakers winning. I was just me and Jack Black just harmonizing going through the tunnel. Then we're gonna smoke some weed.
I mean, what he can do with his voice.
One of my best tweets ever when I used to be on Twitter was, and I strongly feel this way, if there was an all-time intergalactic all genres battle of the bands, the final two are going to be Iron Maiden and Tenacious D, and there will be no gambling line, no gambling. Like Vegas will not have those odds. Like it's off the board.
Even money.
Tenacious D could fucking be anybody.
So good.
Were they how they were in the sketch? Were they the musical guest?
No, he was just the host.
Oh, he hosted.
So, by the way, he's such a great guy that he probably would have said, "Oh, put that in," whether they were in it or not. He's just like that. He's supportive of comedy in general and just a great, great guy. Like Last Man on Earth, we'd have people come in and kill them off immediately. And somebody had told me, "Oh, Jack Black watches the show," or he might have even sent me an email. And but anyway, at some point, Fox would always say, "Oh, here, let us try to cast this," and I'd say, "Okay, whatever," and then wouldn't get much traction, so I would just end up reaching out to people. And I reached out to him, and within a minute, he texted back saying, "Yes, I'm in," or emailed or whatever.
You know,
which is unheard of. Like, you know,
but it also
think
speaks
with somebody
to your
his caliber, he'd have to
right. But it speaks to your currency, your value. Like people want to work with you. You can be demure all you want, but you're just like one of the greatest. Like you're so funny.
I appreciate you saying that.
Well, it's not subjective. I hate to break it to you. I read some interview with you when you spoke about that, like, oh no feeling. First of all, you had the 2-week extensions in the summer. I went through that and it made me insane, obviously. Yeah. But unlike you, I went, fuck it, I can't.
Yeah.
Because my agent goes, so what happens is they're supposed to tell you like whatever, June 18th, whether or not they want you. And then they go, they would like a 2-week extension on the deadline to decide whether or not they like you. Then that 2 weeks.
This is the first time or coming back?
This is between my second and third year. And then they go, okay, we'd like another 2 weeks. And I went, fine. And then you try to like do stuff, take your mind off it. And then they wanted a third extension. And my agent, I was like, what do I do? And my agent goes, in my experience, I think she might have been wrong. In my experience, if people need 6 weeks to decide whether or not they want to work with you, they probably don't want to work with you. So it might be time to get a sitcom. And I was like, okay. But then that first episode, in my house alone, watching Will Ferrell scream, "Get off the shed," I was certain I might as well just commit suicide. I made the worst mistake of my life. I was like, oh my God, this is the most special thing I've ever seen.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
What was that first sketch that you saw that made you go, oh no, I've made a horrible mistake? Or do you remember?
Well, I mean, I don't remember the exact sketch, but I do remember, and I didn't have the exact same situation as you, but I did leave. We had just done MacGruber. It came out right after the season ended, and I didn't know what I was going to do. The movie bombed horribly. We loved the movie, but like it was not a box office.
Also not
success.
Subjective. Thank you. Come on, it's MacGruber.
And I just was like, for a couple of years in a row, my agents would say like, hey, maybe it's time to leave and see what's out there. And I would go like, no, this is freaking, I'm not going to leave SNL. This is, it's like your family. Yeah. And I'm lucky to have this job. So I would stay there. And this was the first time that they said, hey, look, you're going to have to leave at some point. You just had an SNL movie. What's the number one thing that could come from SNL would be for them to do an SNL movie. And like, they're not going to do another SNL movie after what just happened. So you're going to have to, at some point, take a chance on leaving. And we think this is the time. And I had just turned 40. And I was like, yeah, I guess I could see their point. So I ended up leaving with zero idea whether I had. It wasn't like people were knocking down their doors.
Who was the next cast after you left?
It was basically the same cast.
Your homies.
Minus me. So it was so hard when in the fall to go like, God, I could still be there. And at that point, I was just like twiddling my thumbs. It wasn't until Sandler, when he was doing that movie with Andy Samberg, reached out about doing a supporting role. I'll always be so thankful to him to have, because he really scooped me up at a time that I wasn't worried because I knew that I loved writing, and I always just assumed I'll try out acting, see if I can get any acting stuff, and if nothing comes, I know I can go back to writing, which I love. So I was just hanging around, and it was looking more and more like I was just gonna start writing again. And then that call from him really helped kind of give me a lifeline for a little bit, and then things kind of came together.
You know how when you pitch sketches in Lauren's office on Monday, and then when everyone's done pitching, Lauren will go like, Joe, if you're the host, any ideas? Did you ever have a host with a lot of ideas? Because we had
remember
John Travolta had a yellow legal pen, and he was like, he waited the whole pitch meeting to go, I do actually. And he took out a yellow legal pad, and it was all full. He's like, I have an idea where me and Mike are Hasidic Jewish detectives, and he walked us through every beat of like 11 different sketches. Like we were stuck until like 1 a.m. in Lauren's
Did
office.
any of them?
No, it was horrible. They were fucking terrible. Like John, they were fucking horrible ideas. Because we had like great ideas, like Pulp Fiction and Laverne and Welcome Back, Kotter. Like let's mush those together.
Yeah.
That's such a
and I was like, I just want to play Woodman.
God, I mean, the only thing I remembered when you said that was I remember when Ray Romano came.
Oh,
Phil was there too. I think a couple members of their writing staff. It was my first year, and it was a really good version of it. It was like these super smart dudes who I don't remember if they pitched something, but they were around that week and had written some stuff, and they were super funny and.
But at least Romano's a comic.
Blended, right? Oh yeah. No, it was
Travolta's
like the good version,
pilot.
but usually that's like a.
If I want to hear sketch ideas from a pilot,
Yeah,
I'll call Sullenberger. That guy's hilarious.
that guy. That's right. He's from where my mom lives.
Where's that?
Just want to shout out to Danville, California.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You favorite musical guest ever?
Favorite musical guest. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is U2. I grew up a huge U2 fan.
What songs
and
did
then
they
they the only gripe I had about this was when they did Vertigo and sometimes you can't make it on your own.
Yep.
And that was a really nice thing because I think he had just lost his dad, and the audience didn't see this, but in the commercial break he was saying that like when his dad had passed, there was this extra level of octave or that he could reach this note he had never reached.
Yeah, him and Dad were into opera
It was
together.
Really sweet.
They both loved opera.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, and so it was grew up loving them. War album. And
I love you
Under
too.
Blood
I'm a
Red
U2
Sky.
apologist all the way down the line.
I
love you. People make fun of them
Fire is
so
my
much.
favorite. Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro.
But they were, I think, the first band since I had been there that stuck around and did like 5 or 6 songs after the show was over.
I've never even heard of that before.
Yeah. And now I think it happens somewhat regularly, but not it once every season.
You can't make it on your own. About his dad, and I love the lyric, you always said, if we weren't so much alike, I'd like you so much more. How do you remember? That's yeah. I'm seeing my memory's so bad that now that you say it, I go, yeah. Like you a whole lot more. It's a beautiful song. It's and the like song one of those, Iris about his mom. You know that one? Oh, I didn't. Oh, is that on the same album? No, that's on the one Miracle of Joey Ramone. Maybe.
That's on the. That's on All That You Can't Leave Behind, right?
But when my mom died, I compartmentalized that pretty well because I was deep in addiction, deep in depression. I was going through a divorce. Everything in my life, 1 + 1 = 53. Like everything in my life was chaos. And it just made sense to me. Like this woman's old. She has Alzheimer's. She's going to die now. She's dead. that, okay, 1 + 1 = 2. Like it was the most sobering mathematically, like this is what happens in life.
Yeah.
It just made sense to me. And it was the only order in my life was my mom dying at an appropriate time. And then it was about a week after I was in bed in Malibu and I was watching a fan video of U2 doing Iris. And it was a fan video and they were jumping out of airplanes. And the person jumps out of the plane at a certain part in the song and that free fall matched like that I'm getting choked up now, like matched that feeling, that whoosh when a parent dies, like what the fuck? Like who do I call? I don't have a mommy anymore. And I just broke down, snot sobbing in my bed. I was like, whoa, Bono.
Sam, I'm so lucky. My folks are both still around.
And you guys are all seem real close.
I mean,
from what I read.
just thinking about that, and just, I'm sorry.
Oh, come on. You're a sweetheart. You said your memory's better 3rd, 4th grade than it is like the two. Who'd you hang out with in 4th grade?
Wait, I have to tell you the one thing about
do.
the U2 thing. So they had played, this is when they were doing those 2 songs. So I went to watch them do their sound check. So I heard Vertigo a couple times. And then I watched them do the dress rehearsal show and heard that. And then they did the live show. And then for some reason, when they stuck around to, how many songs do they have? Hundreds of songs. They played, I think, 5 songs. And one of them, for some reason, they did Vertigo again.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Sorry, what was your
Mix
question?
it up, guys.
Yeah.
You two, what's like your under, like, God, nobody really is into this song, but it's like for me, it's Kite off of All That You Can't Leave Behind. I'm like, fucking A.
From you two?
Yeah. Like, what's your, like,
Oh, man.
or One Tree Hill off of the Joshua Tree? I'm like, if I could hear this live, I'll cry.
Well, the one, you're saying what's my favorite song of theirs?
Yeah.
Probably Bad.
Yeah.
Nah, so good.
Like that, I went and saw them in like, I think it was 85. It was right before, there was something about the Joshua Tree that I felt like I lost them a little bit. But before it felt like, it was not everybody's band. You're, part of this club. It was, but I saw them play Bad and it was like a religious experience. And I remember going home and
Bono did like a whole heroin thing.
Yeah, it was about his drug addict buddy.
And it was just listen to that record for 3 days in a row.
Sing
and
it.
then when the song One came out, which was, it's a great song. I love it. And I love hearing it live, but it seems like it kind of took that slot and Bad kind of stopped being played at shows. And that was a bummer because that was probably,
this is an unpopular take. One's probably my least favorite U2 song, but
really? Okay.
I love, there's certain lyrics in it I love because I think it's about the Edge's divorce. Like, you gave me nothing, now it's all I've got. I'm like, oof.
Oh.
Oof. If you can avoid a divorce, I highly recommend it. Did you, when you auditioned for SNL, did you have to go to Studio 8H and do your characters? Yeah. Which characters did you do?
I did Tim Calhoun. I did this.
By the way, Tim Calhoun in court. Mwah.
Oh, thank you. That was another one I did at the Groundlings, and basically the Spelling Bee character is the same guy as Tim Calhoun, essentially.
You seem to find your comfort zone in either super quiet characters or like a screaming falconer guy or like a MacGruber chaos, like explosion guy.
Yeah.
It's almost like, that's like your margins that you like. Yeah. What is that? Like,
I don't know. It's some kind of character defect, I'm sure.
Do you still think
I have never killed somebody?
Who believes that?
I did until he did the eyebrows, and then I was like, oh, he's definitely killed somebody.
You always gotta leave a little question mark.
Who was in the 8H when you did it, and who? Like, what other auditioners do you remember?
Definitely, Polar was there. I remember meeting her. I don't remember who else was there, but I know that Seth was in that day. The people who made it that year were. This was because I auditioned during the year. Oh, my stomach! Sorry, I'm growling. The year that Poehler, Seth,
He killed him and ate him.
and Jeff Richards and Dean Edwards came in. So it was the first year that Farrell left. So this is Are you saying this is the first year that you?
Yeah, you were right after me then.
No, because that would have been. Sorry, it was the first. Your first year.
Will
not
Ferrell
there was
bridged
his
you
first
guys.
year. Sorry, so this would have been. But first, I was writing at the '70s show, and I had. I don't know. I was a huge SNL Letterman fan. Got to write at Letterman in '97. I didn't do a great job. I got fired after like 9 months. So when I got the SNL job, when I was writing a '70s show, they had just been picked up for 2 seasons. Most of the shows I had been on would get canceled after 13 episodes. So I was just had this real fear of making the wrong call. I'm like, this job at '70s show, I love the show. All the writers, they were so efficient. We'd have these tight little days.
But what paradise to go from that fear to a place where your bravery is so rewarded.
Oh, you mean
to go from '70s to SNL?
Well, yes, but at the time it was terrifying. So I get the job, and I actually said no. I ultimately said no. I'm going to stay at '70s show and write. So I went back. I'm writing for that whole season at '70s show, kicking myself. You know, it was tough to see the new shows and go like, God, I should have done that. You know, and thank God they came back the next year and said, you know, would you want to come back and audition again?
What would you do differently if you go back your whole SNL career? What would you have done differently?
I don't think anything.
I mean, that's beautiful.
Well, just because, you know, every single step has led to where I am now. And it's like, if I do one thing differently there, I don't have this little kid probably. And my other kid who's not on my socks.
Will's wearing socks with his kid on it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You could have told Bono, we've heard Vertigo enough.
Yeah, Bono, play bad.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. That's probably it. But
I remember when my son...
a million things, but it's like, you know,
we were listening to Vertigo, me and my oldest boy's 22 now, but he was like 3. And we're like, at the end of the song, he goes, yeah. And he had just come from the nanny, and the song's over, and he goes, Mas, yeah. Mas, yeah. Like he just wanted the song again. If you were a fighter, what would your walk-up music be?
My walk-up music would be, I mean, probably Led Zeppelin, The Rover.
Nice. Who's your favorite Muppet?
Just something about favorite Muppet. Elmo.
Get the fuck out of here. You can't be Elmo. You don't mean that.
I don't know.
You don't mean that.
I don't know. It's the 2 dudes in the
that makes a lot more sense.
The
Statler and Waldorf.
Yes, Statler and Waldorf.
Well, thanks for coming. Everybody watch 4 seasons on Netflix. May 1st. Do it. Record it now. Maybe you still have TiVo. Type that in the search bar. Come back whenever you want to promote anything or whatever. I still call it TiVo too.
Fun. I would love to come back.
Okay, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Let's just book it now because we got so much.
We didn't
There's
get
this
into
Coyote
Nebraska.
versus Acme movie at some point that will be coming out. I'll come back for that for
Do you
sure.
play the
I
Coyote?
love talking to you.
Do you play the Coyote?
No, I play the Coyote's lawyer. The Coyote is suing the Acme company.
Of course he is.
For all the stuff that's exploded in his face.
I never knew Acme was a real word that meant something. Like in Scrabble, you can play Acme.
Yeah.
Until I just thought
I always thought it was.
I was like, it's
the
a proper
same
noun.
Thing.
You can't use
wait
it.
a second.
It's a proper noun. It's
I
like
do
you
crossword puzzles.
Can't write Sony and Scrabble.
Yeah.
Crossword guy, huh?
Yeah.
I love him.
Pretty good.
I sit on a plane with a crossword book. I'm in heaven. I love it so much. I'm a simple guy.
I do the New York Times app, which is great. You just put it on.
I like tactile.
You like them? Yeah.
Yeah. I miss newspapers.
Do you do it in pencil or pen?
I gotta do it in pencil
Okay.
because
It's smarter.
I'm too quick. I'm too like aha.
Yeah.
That wasn't it.
I
UNT. It wasn't what I thought it was. It was ant. All right, Will. Thank you, buddy. I love you.
Thank you. Love you.
My man.
Jay Mohr's my uncle.